about we're going to take over the Republican Party.
That's right.
This could have happened 10, 20 years ago. I'm guilty. Okay, I just had my political awakening a couple of years ago. I thought that the only thing that I could do as a voter was to go to the ballot box and vote. And if there's some of you in here today that think that that's the extent of your leverage in our political system, our struggle for freedom, wake up. Because our voice is our power as much as our vote is our power.
Amen.
Means and that we're paying taxes to the UN.
I will talk privately about that. Well, not privately, but I witnessed what the power, not only of just your voice, but the power of your presence can do. When I sat last year in the South Carolina Senate, and I saw a vote that was taken by voice vote, and the vote was overwhelmingly opposed to this particular issue. And 5 senators raised their hands and said, we'd like to have a roll call vote. Now, part of the reason why all this transpired was the balcony was filled up with people like in this room that are passionate about our freedom and protecting it. When the roll call vote was taken, the vote was exactly the opposite of what it was when they were able to do it on a voice vote. Why is that? Because they knew that their constituents could know how they were being represented.
Bingo.
Now, most of us don't have time to go to Columbia Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday every day, every week throughout the session. But I'll tell you what you can do. They've made something really good for us, and that is you can log on to your internet, you can watch what's going on over the internet, and then you can start immediately calling and getting all of your friends and fellow patriots to call, because that's what we did. We can email them immediately. It is time. I may be preaching to a lot of folks here that have been in the battle for years and decades, and to those of you that have been, we salute you. We appreciate the fact that you've been holding the fort, you've been holding the line. But now it's time for all of us to step up and get involved.
Reinforcement. Now, we're going to end right now because we've got some questions up here. I'm going to stick around over here as long as you all want. I know Harry will as well, and you will. And thank you all so very much for coming out today.
Rio asked me to say something for the
I'm sorry.
Gary, I think as far as the press goes, Karen, you might as well stand there too. You made I'm going to say, agreement Monday with the GOP. Is it now off the board, or is it still on the board as the way it was written?
Can you repeat the question for us, please?
The question was,
The question was that on Monday, the coalition, when we held our joint press conference, we made an agreement to some very specific items that we would mutually support. The question was, is that agreement still in effect? Or has it been violated to the point that we can't follow through with that agreement? That agreement, I read it earlier. You folks are the ones that I don't believe in collectivism. All right, you're the voters. You're the Tea Party movement. You're the freedom movement. Do we still want to work with the GOP on those particular issues to get inside the precincts during reorganization, to elect conservative candidates? My personal feeling is we ought to follow through with the agreement. The agreement was good when we made it.
How are they going to keep us out of precincts if what do they have to do with us going into precincts? Okay. Well, as precinct workers, how can they, do they control that? I don't think so.
no, you
The GOP, here was the agreement. The
So what do we have to
GOP,
agree with them about? What did we agree with them about?
okay,
What were these agreements that we have to abide by?
the leadership of the coalitions that have come together here in the Upcountry We got together, sat down, and this is what we agreed to for our individual groups. Now, if I'm not trying to speak for anybody that's not in those groups, that we would, that the Republican Party would not implement a Tea Party organization. That the coalition would remain independent. We still agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay, we're independent. That the Tea Party organizations, the Tea Party movement, that we would get involved by going into the precincts during the precinct reorganization so that we can gain a voting voice inside the Republican Party, and all the things that you're frustrated with and I'm frustrated with, that we, on the outside, we can't vote who is going to get support from the party. But if we get inside the party, we do have that voting voice. So that's why we came to an agreement that during precinct reorganization that we would get involved inside the party through the precinct level so that we have a voting voice inside the party. The last thing that we would have, that the Republican Party would institute a facilitator, a liaison, that would come to the leaders of the Liberty groups and communicate with us what's happening inside the Republican Party to let us know what's happening, and also to be our corridor of information back to the Republican Party of what we expect. Now, we've sat here today and we've talked about
Not as a spokesman, just a courier.
A courier of information, a liaison that would carry information.
Who's the spokesman going to be for all this? Are there two spokesmen? I mean, we're going to have to keep doing this?
Not a spokesman.
What's to keep them from getting up and saying, doing what they just did?
We will.
I'm here to talk for the Tea Party.
We will. Everybody saw how quickly that when we felt that there was inaccurate impressions that were created, everybody here saw how quickly that the coalition pulled together and wanted to set the record straight. That's the folks that will make sure that this is going in the right direction. Alan.
I just got one request. When you go public with this, just make sure each organization is represented, is named in that, because there's other organizations, especially Tea Party organizations, that actually had no involvement with the upstate organizing.
Point well taken. Alan's comment, Alan is a Tea Party leader from Columbia. His point is that when this is being discussed, especially in the media, that it's a clear understanding of what organizations are involved in the agreement, because that agreement may not extend to Columbia or elsewhere, Myrtle Beach or wherever. That's why that this has been, as best I could get out, that it's the Upcountry Coalition, an agreement with the Greenville County GOP. It was never intended to be a blanket statement that it covered the entire state of South Carolina for all freedom movement organizations.
Ladies and gentlemen, essentially, this is over. So, if you want to ask more questions, again, please buy some food. Oh, you have a question.
I still haven't heard a yes or no on Ed's question. Can we get a yes or no on Ed's
What was the question?
Is the agreement on or off?
Is the agreement on or off?
Announced Monday. On.
I believe what his answer, Bob has answered for you, but what
You want to do one-on-one?
what you could do one-on-one, or essentially, they're having a meeting tomorrow, I believe, unless the weather is too terrible, with the leaders of the coalition. And I believe in the interest of everybody else, that would be the place to decide again, to revisit it. I'm just playing facilitator in this. You know, we had originally just had Harry and Ms. Floyd talk, and but you know, she wants to talk, so if she talks, I want to let him lead talk.